What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. And it sounds weird to say Wednesday instead of Friday or maybe any other weekend day. But that's because I felt compelled to have to come on here and do this live stream. Hopefully, I can get everything that I need to say covered in an hour. I understand it's like the middle of the day. Some of you are at work right now. Some of you might be on your lunch break. Some of you may be off like I am, but that's why I'm doing it today because from tomorrow through Saturday is going to be busy. Like I can't do it tomorrow because I work. I don't want to do it on Friday because Friday is Freestyle Friday, and I don't want to deprive my audience of those who want to participate in that of that since I do that once a month. And Saturday afternoon, I'm going to be busy as well, and I don't want to prolong this all the way to Sunday. So I said, why put on another day what I can do today? And this is about the Ethan Liming update, or well, it's not really his trial, but it's the trial of the three black men that were involved with that. As y'all know, that was a story that I talked about 2 years ago. It's crazy how time flies, and so much stuff has happened, and a lot of stuff has happened since then, and still is, and the outcome of it. But I wanted to talk about that because initially I wasn't going to talk about it. I had just posted up the link of the verdict on my Twitter account yesterday and just left it there. And if I did touch on it, I was going to probably talk about it next week in my live stream. But today I saw something that made me want to feel like I had to talk about something that I saw that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm sure it's going to make y'all feel some type of way as well. If y'all follow me on Twitter, well, X, whatever you want to call it, then you probably have an idea of what it is that I'm talking about. But before I actually get into it, let me acknowledge those who are in the chat so far and make sure y'all hit that like button and share button as well. Shout out to DSA1, Southern Lady Brown, Demarcus Vaughn, Volvo to Love, Corey Green, Breeze Omega, J Cage, already said Demarcus Shockwave, Soundwave, Savion, Drake Zero, Rella D, and Shockwave. I don't know if you are a troll or not with the question, the line of questioning that you are asking, but if you ask it again, you will be blocked. Chris Vesey, Andre Johnson, Don P. Ben, Yehuda, Ismail, and that is it as of right now. It's currently 73 people in here. Also, Denise just popped in. Shout out to Denise. Yeah, but there's something that, like I said, I really wanted to talk about or address as it pertains to this story right here. How many, first off, put a one in the chat if y'all are familiar with this story right here. It should be a barrage of ones because it was a pretty big story when it first happened. Put a one if you are familiar with it. Put a two if you are not, because I'm going to read a couple of articles before I actually get to the meat and potatoes of why I'm making this stream today. All right, said Breeze said one, Denise said two, G-Man said two, MML said two, Rashawn two, Jandre said two. Okay, I'm actually surprised though. Like it's a lot of people, it's a lot of twos in here that don't know what's going on. But basically, to give you in summary, because the article is going to pretty much break it down for you. Back in 2021, you had these it was three black men. They were playing basketball on the basketball court. It happened in Akron, Ohio. They were playing basketball on a basketball court, and all of a sudden these guys pulled up to them, got out of the car, and started shooting pellets, like from a water pellet gun that are hard. Like think of a BB gun, but these can explode on impact. Like it's almost like a BB gun mixed with a paintball gun. It's like a combination of that. And he started to fire them at these three men that was on the court. Well, one of the ones that was doing the firing was a man by the name of by Ethan Liming. Now, Ethan Liming is or was a PC male. Well, what happened was when the three men saw him firing at them, they ran up on him and they gave him that work. So much, in fact, that he ended up dying from his injuries. I believe that he had hit his head on the concrete or something like that, and he ended up, I think concussing, and he never recovered. Anyway, to make this story a little bit faster, they ended up arresting all three of the men. In my opinion, that to me it should have been seen as self-defense. They ended up, in my opinion, overcharging them. Like they had them go through many layers of charges before they got down to what became involuntary manslaughter. And now recently it came out that they were found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter. And now you have the usual suspects all online losing their minds about this. And like I said, we're going to go through the tweet that compelled me to make this live stream. Because if I didn't see that tweet, I probably wouldn't have did the stream. But I'm doing the stream right here because, like I said, I asked people in the chat. Some people said twos, but then I'm looking at the chat now. Some people are saying, "Oh, okay, now I remember it. Now that you kind of break it down." Because, like I said, it's so much stuff that happened. Remember, in 2021, we were still in the height of the pandemic a little bit, so to speak. The quarantine. Well, not quarantine, but all of that was still going on, as well as other things. And then a lot of stuff happened as well. This was one of those things, as far as the trial goes, if you blink, you would have missed it. But I saw it yesterday. The way I found out about it was on Instagram. I didn't find out about it on Twitter. I found about it on Instagram, and then I just went on Google, found an article, posted it, and just left it and let it be there. But a tweet that I came across today made me want to talk about this story again and give more detail about what happened. Shockwave said, "I asked because there's a lot of Black Americans and Latinos are discriminated." Anyway, but let's go ahead and get into it. I have a couple of articles that I'm gonna go through, and then I'm gonna go into the tweet and just show you how dangerous and inaccurate the tweet actually is. But let me first, before I actually do that, let me go ahead and first off share my screen. I forgot to do that. Let me share my screen, and let me show y'all a picture right here. This is the picture of the toy gun. What they call it is they say it's a toy gun, but this is the device. I'll put it like that. This was the device that was used, that Ethan Liming had used when he was firing off at the black men on that basketball court. So this is not a water gun, because you have the usual suspects trying to say it was a squirt gun or a water gun. Listen, don't insult my intelligence. I grew up in the 90s. I know what a super soaker looks like, whether it's the big super soaker or the smaller ones, or the little pea shooter ones that you can buy from the dollar store. And none of them did anything like this. As you can see right there on the side, it says splatter ball. It was called splatter ball. This was what Ethan Liming was using when he fired upon those black men on that court. And he was firing in directions like if it hits you, it would definitely at least leave a bruise. But see, the thing is, no one's going to try to figure out if this is a real gun or not. All they see is someone pointing a gun at you, and you just hope that you don't get hit. And when he ran, they took off after him, and they put in that work. I'm just leave it like that. Those of you who know the story, you know the story. So this is a picture of what it looks like. Yes, and Breeze Omega hit it on the head. They froze the pellets. These pellets were frozen. By the way, those pellets aren't meant to be frozen. So they put these in the freezer. That way, when it hits you, it has a harder hit, because it's called splatter ball, which means when it hits you, it should spray out like a paintball. And even when you're paintballing, you're supposed to use protective gear, because those paintballs hurt, for any of those who've ever been paintballing. But these were frozen, which means on impact, it doesn't splatter. So imagine if you get hit in the face or get hit in the eye. That could damage you. And like I said, when you see someone doing like this, especially with the climate that we are in, you don't want to take any chances. So when those black men saw him doing this, they saw it as a threat. Now, this is what people need to realize. There was a series of YouTubers on YouTube years ago where it was a sector of people who would go around pranking black people because for their enjoyment or for their entertainment. Ask yourself why they don't do it anymore. Because people actually have gotten hurt or worse, and they stopped doing them. Apparently, Ethan Liming did not get the memo. but he knows now. Well, you know what I mean. But yeah, I just wanted to start it off with this. This is how this is what the device looked like. So now we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the first article, and this was posted on September 25th, 2023, which was 2 days ago on cleveland.com. And shout out to Blacklight Revelations because I believe this happened in the city he's in, so he definitely would know this like the back of his hand. It says jury finds Akron brothers not guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the death of Ethan Liming during attack over pellet gun. Now, keep in mind, like I said, when they initially charged these men, involuntary manslaughter was not the first one they went with. They were trying to hem them up with the most heaviest charges that they could find. I believe they tried to get them on first degree and second degree. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, they overcharged them. They probably gonna walk from this. If y'all remember, they tried to get them on like first and second degree. I'm like, first of all, first degree, where did you get your law license from? So you mean to tell me that they knew that they premeditated that they were going to take him out? And you can't even get him on second degree either. Involuntary manslaughter was the one, that's the only one they could really go after them with, because at the end of the day, even though what he did was dumb as hell, he still died. So this was the only thing that they could have got them on. But when they started going after them, they were trying to get them on these heavy felony charges. And then what the judge ended up doing was, well, thankfully, their lawyers, their attorneys were A1, because they argued that those charges from like first and second degree all the way down to involuntary manslaughter. And the judge actually obliged. That's why I said when this case first came out, it shocked me every step of the way, because this usually never happens when the optics look the way that they do. This is like catching lightning in a bottle, because usually it's the other way around. Now y'all see why I titled this The Other Side of Us Versus Them. This is the side they don't like. But don't get it twisted. This is an exception, not the rule. But now that I got that off, let me go ahead and read it. A Summit County jury found two brothers not guilty of involuntary manslaughter Monday in the beating death of 17-year-old Ethan Liming, an attack that came after Liming repeatedly shot at them with a pellet gun last summer. A Summit County jury convicted Deshaun Stafford, age 20, and his brother Tyler, age 19, of lesser counts of assault in Liming's death in the parking lot of the I Promise School in Akron in June 2022. So it was 2022. I don't know why I thought it was 2021. Forgive me. It was last year. See, again, so much stuff happens so fast, or so much you forget dates and locations sometimes. But one thing I wanted to also point out is this. I remember when this first happened, they made sure to constantly implement about LeBron James's school being in close quarters of this. I said they just had to find a way to insert LeBron James in there somewhere, even though it had nothing to do with him. I don't even think it had it didn't have anything to do with LeBron James, but because it was near the school, they had to implement him in there somehow, some way. Prosecutors charged Deshaun Stafford with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, and assault. The jury could not reach a verdict on the first count of involuntary manslaughter. He was found not guilty on the second count of involuntary manslaughter. It is unclear whether prosecutors will attempt to take him to trial again on the first charge. The 20-year-old was found guilty of aggravated assault and assault. His bond was revoked and he was taken into custody. So this is where they got him at. They got him on aggravated assault and assault. Now, keep in mind, again, the other side of us versus them. These kind of charges and the optics that it looks like usually works in their favor, not in ours. You got to think about this. Somebody lost their life, and all they found him guilty of was aggravated assault and assault. Usually in cases like that, a lot of times people don't end up dead. It's just they can become badly injured. His younger brother was found guilty of assault and remains on house arrest. He was found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Their sentencing is scheduled for October 26th at 1:30 p.m. If they had been convicted of the involuntary manslaughter charges, the brothers would have each faced 11 years in prison. The aggravated assault charge against Deshaun Stafford carries a maximum of 18 months in prison. So that's basically a year and some change, like a year and a half. The assault charges are misdemeanors that carry a maximum of a year in prison. Jurors began deliberating Wednesday after several days of testimony in a trial before Judge Tammy O'Brien. The case focused on whether the brothers acted in self-defense or deliberately attacking Lyman, then Rising Senior at Firestone Community Learning Center in Akron. The trial included testimony from police officers, Lyman's friends, and the pathologist who found Lyman died from blunt force trauma to his head. The jury deliberated for more than 2 days before reaching its verdict. Police said Lyman and his friends drove through the city during the evening of June 2nd, smoking marijuana and shooting people and objects with a soft gel gun. Now, why didn't they focus on that part? It says that they were shooting people and objects with a soft gel gun while driving through the city. So those 3 men that they were shooting at, they weren't their first targets. It's just that with those 3, Ethan Lyman and possibly his friends got out of the car and shot at them. Because remember, Ethan Lyman wasn't by himself. He was with 2 other people. And they got in that car, unless they didn't get out the car either, and drove off and left him trying to catch up. This is the plastic guns fire a capsule that is filled with water. The capsules often cause pain and minor irritation, but what they don't tell you is that they were frozen. Lyman's friends pulled into the parking lot and drove directly to where the Staffords and their cousin, 21-year-old Donovan Jones, were playing basketball at the school, which is operated with help from the LeBron James Family Foundation. Lyman and his friends began shooting them with the gel guns. Deshaun Stafford approached Lyman and attempted to take the gun away after being shot in the face. There it is. Look at that. Deshaun Stafford approached Lyman and attempted to take the gun after being shot in the face. What did I just tell you? What if someone gets shot in the face? And you have this one right here who was shot in the face. But they tried to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. I said, people don't know the damage that this thing could do. And again, these pellets were frozen. So he's lucky he didn't get shot in the eye. He could have lost an eye. It says the 2 began fighting. His brother and his cousin joined in the fight. Lyman died when his head hit the pavement after being punched in the face, according to authorities. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. According to the medical examiner's report, Lyman's injuries included relatively superficial injuries to the face, torso, legs, arms, and left hand. It is unclear if all the injuries occurred June 2nd when the fight took place. Lyman was found dead in the parking lot at about 10:45 p.m. The Stafford brothers and Jones were arrested in Akron on murder charges. A visiting judge, James Kimbler, originally set their bonds at $1 million each in Akron Municipal Court. Deshaun Stafford told police he hit Lyman, knocking him out. His attorney, John Sin, said Deshaun was trying to shoulder any blame to protect his younger brother. A Summit County grand jury later indicted the 3 men on lesser charges in July 2022, which is what I was telling y'all about before when they was trying to overcharge. A judge greatly reduced their bonds a month later. That's why I said when I was hearing all these reductions between the bonds and the charges, I was like literally shocked. I was looking like Fred G. Sanford when he thought that this was the big one. He was about to go join Elizabeth. Deshaun Stafford was charged with involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, aggravated assault and misdemeanor, and a misdemeanor assault. His brother faced similar charges. Their cousin Jones was convicted of 2 misdemeanor counts of assault. During closing arguments that were streamed by WKYC, prosecutors acknowledged that Lyman and his friends' actions were not a bright idea, but they said Lyman died because he was attacked. That's what the prosecutors say. They just said because he was attacked. So he had no role into why that happened. He just got attacked because they felt like attacking someone that day. Prosecutors Matt Kuhn and Jenny Shuki said the beating by the Staffords and Jones was not self-defense. That's what they claim. Maybe Deshaun should have punched him, but that is a one-on-one fight, Shuki said, but it does not stay that way. It escalates. Tyler has got to run over and get in the fight. Donovan has got to run over and get in the fight. How is that now a fair fight at all? Let's not talk about fair fights. Do you want to talk about what just happened in Alabama a month ago or nah? Let's talk about fair fights. Now you want to talk about fair fights? Let's keep this in mind. While one of them did get shot in the face from that pellet gun that was frozen, he was shooting in their direction. It didn't matter where it landed. It could have hit either one of them. And what if there were other people on that court? What if it hit a child? Then what? Sin, who represents the Sean Stafford, said the brothers were standing their ground. Under Ohio law, a person is allowed to use force in self-defense or in defense of another. You're allowed to do that, he said. You don't have to back up from a fight. He met a punch with a punch. These boys were not looking for trouble. Trouble came looking for them. Shout out to their attorney. So that's the first article right there. And shout out to Rob. He said Liming died because they were shooting at people and shot someone in Highland Square. Who does that and doesn't expect something to happen? No one from the area. I'm just saying. And see, Rob, he knows the area very well. So I'm sure when he heard about this, he's not surprised that this was the outcome. But that was the first article right there. Now, the next one I'm going to read is going to be coming from in news5cleveland.com, and this is actually going to be this was posted September 26, 2023, and this is from the family of Ethan Liming. Now I want y'all to just pay attention to the stuff that they're saying. This is Ethan Liming's family completely devastated by verdict. Jury ignored facts. Attorney says, what facts did they ignore? It looks to me like they paid attention to all of the facts, much like we did, much like the attorneys did as well. It says nothing will bring back Ethan. His death goes without justice. It says the family of Ethan Liming issued a statement Tuesday puzzling over a jury decision that led to a jury acquittal and mistrial on involuntary manslaughter charges relating to the 17-year-old's death last year. The statement was released by the family's attorney on their behalf, and this is the statement right here, and I'm about to read it right now. The Liming family is completely devastated by the outcome of this trial and cannot understand how three young men can get away with viciously beating their son Ethan to death. Were y'all not in the courtroom present when all of that evidence was presented? They make it seem like their son was so innocent. Isn't this the same kind of talking point that they try to, like, whenever something happens with our children, our youth, they try to say, oh, they weren't so innocent? Case in point, Trayvon Martin. He couldn't be too innocent because he was taking pictures and putting it online of him throwing up the middle finger. He can't be too innocent because he was getting into fights at school. He can't be too innocent because he got suspended. He can't be too innocent because he was wearing a grill in his mouth. Again, the other side of us versus them. Let's get back to it. Ethan didn't get a fair shot that night when three men brutally attacked him. And now again, Ethan did not get a fair shot in court. They feel like Ethan has been killed again, and now the Liming family is victimized by the system and the media for publishing articles that were not only hurtful to the Liming family, but were also simply not true. This case had nothing to do with race when it happened, but it's funny. We're going to get to that, y'all. Oh, we're going to get to that because I didn't expect them to put that part, but we're going to get to that. The community picked sides and, in a symptom of our society, lost sight of what is simply a matter of right or wrong. Clearly, the jury lost its way, and the Liming family cannot understand that if they convicted the defendants of assault and aggravated assault, then what killed Ethan? The concrete? That is like saying, I just happened to be holding the gun that killed someone. The Liming family yet again was victimized by jury nullification, where the jury ignored proven facts to come back with an inconsistent verdict. As their attorney, to witness the injustice, to witness the grief, the harassment, the cruel and unimaginable things said on social media reflects how broken we are as a community, as a city, and as a nation. Nothing will bring Ethan back. His death goes without justice. The people who killed Ethan go without consequence, and our community remains crippled in its failure to recognize the simple concepts of fairness and compassion. At this time, the Liming family would like to thank all those who have stood with them during these devastating times and the support and comfort they are provided. Someone please cue the tiniest violin that you can find. On Monday, after nearly 3 days of deliberations, the jury hearing the case found Deshaun and Tyler Stafford not guilty of one count of involuntary manslaughter for Liming's death in the summer of 2022. The jury was unable to reach a verdict on the other involuntary manslaughter charge against Deshaun Stafford, and a mistrial was declared for that charge. Deshaun Stafford was found guilty of aggravated assault and assault. Tyler Stafford was found guilty of assault. Both were found not guilty of a third-degree charge of involuntary manslaughter as a proximate result of committing or attempting to commit assault. The crazy part about this is these guys almost got completely off. If they didn't find them guilty of those assault charges, they would have walked away scot-free. They probably would have had to come back though, because they probably would try to revisit with that mistrial thing, but they almost got completely off, which again, that rarely happens. Liming died from a head injury during a fight with the brothers, and after he and his friends shot gel pellets that were frozen at them from a toy gun while they played basketball outside the I Promise school in Akron. All right, y'all. So that's the whole article right there. This is more focused on the statement from the family, from the lawyer on the behalf of the family. So that's that part. But now we're going to really get into the craziness, because remember what I was saying about how in this part of the article where it says this case had nothing to do with race when it happened. I told you to hang on to that statement. But before we get into that, I'm going to rehash a tweet that I posted up last year when this happened. Someone liked it on Twitter, and it popped back up into the feed, mainly because of how I responded to the tweet that I'm going to show you after this. I said on June 13th, 2022, PC is so mad that what happened with Ethan Liming most likely won't be deemed a hate crime. Keep this in mind. In that previous article from the statement from the family, they said they don't want to see this. They don't believe that this was anything to do with race. But last year when this happened, it was so many PC people online, especially on Twitter, saying how this was a hate crime. And we were saying, how was this a hate crime? It had nothing to do with Ethan Liming being PC. Nothing. This could have been a black kid that did this, and the outcome could have still been very much the same. What did they say? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And ironically, that's what I put in the tweet. I says they want to be victims so bad, almost sounds like real liberal, don't you think? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I posted that up on June 13, 2022. Now, let's get to the reason why I made this stream today. We already went through, y'all saw the picture of the device he used. We went through the first article that told you that they were found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter. They got them on assault charges. We got the statement from the family. I showed you this tweet that I posted up last year. Now I'm going to show you the tweet or the post that drove me to make this particular stream. So we have this person right here. I'm going to zoom all the way in because I want y'all to see this. We have this person on X, formerly known as Twitter, who goes by the name of Proud Army Brat, whose name is Leslie Bless. I don't know if that's her real name or just a username, who made this post on her page recently. And she said 17-year-old Ethan Liming was brutally murdered outside LeBron James Promise School in Akron, Ohio. Again, peep how they insert LeBron James in there. These three black thugs, aged 21 and 17, beat him up so bad that his autopsy report revealed he died from a broken neck, blunt force head trauma, and a shoe print that was left on his chest wall. I could have sworn the article only said that he died from head trauma. Where did the broken neck and the shoe print come from? And how did you get a copy of the autopsy if that is indeed all in there? They were just found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter. After the verdict, the murderer's defense attorney said, "I hope this verdict allows all the folks that have suffered, that are hurting, allows them to get some kind of closure and some kind of peace. And she finishes it off with, only one who suffered was Ethan Liming. This is not justice. And then she posted up a picture of the picture that I use in the thumbnail. Now, the reason, now it's interesting that these three have been acquitted for what they were charged for, but they keep posting up pictures of their mugshots. Shout out to the fundraiser for the $5 super chat. He says, I noticed the people who were mad about the sentencing didn't go search up his history to see if he had a record to justify his death. They never do. They never do. So this was the post that she made right here. But what made this even worse is, okay, she posted this up on September 26, 2023. It got 1.4 million views in less than 24 hours because she posted it up at 6:01 p.m. yesterday. So it hasn't been 24 hours yet, and it got 1.4 million views. Now I'm going to go through some of the comments because it's a reason why this woman posted this tweet. And she posted another one too, and we're going to go through that one too. This was a galvanizing tweet. She did this for a reason and left out very, very big key components for a reason. It was very intentional. Because you get responses from people like this Just Dave person who says, if I was Ethan's father, I know what I would do. Someone else says, where are the riots for that young man? This was obviously a murder cold blood. He had his whole life, and these thugs are now walking the streets to do it again. Who said they walk in the streets? And if he had his whole life ahead of him, he should have thought about that before he did what he did. Apparently, he didn't care enough about his life when he did what he did. Silence from LeBron James, says NFT enthusiast. Seriously, there is something morally corrupt with these people being selected for juries today. Says, I put my faith in God, not the government. Shout out to the fundraiser. Says, also, why are people talking about LeBron? Weren't they the same people saying just shut up and dribble? Exactly. I'm telling you, talking out of both sides of their neck. Let's see what else they're talking about. Solution. And they put up a gif of Bart Simpson being electrocuted in the chair. This one says, our judicial system has been corrupted. I wonder if this was three. Here's the part where they like to do I wonder. I wonder if this was three white guys beating a black guy and killing him would be serving life sentences. I think it's time we start investigating the judges. Now they want to talk about what's right and what's wrong with the system. Now they want to talk about what's wrong with it. Bookmarking is heartbreaking. They will be back before a judge soon. Who is this judge and what is their name? Now they're going to probably try to get the judge removed. It's time white people start acting like BLM when these things happen. Well, considering that a lot of BLM is made up of white people, I mean, would you really be acting outside of your scope? Ray Harvey says, and they will do it again. Another wrote, this sentence needs to be appealed. This is sordid. Peachy Gal Ultra MAGA Gang says, street justice needs to take the trash out. Keep in mind why I said she intentionally wrote this tweet or this post the way that she did. Because what she's doing is she's galvanizing her audience to invoke violence against other black people. Someone says, hopefully Ethan has brothers. Someone else said, hopefully there is someone in his family. This is absolutely heartbreaking. This is what happens when they make it a race issue. No, y'all made it a race issue. Y'all remember last year they kept trying to say it should be made a hate crime. It was other white people that were saying that. Now you want to deflect and say this is what happens when they make it a race issue. No, you made it a race issue. Now look at this one. Time we get to hanging, Judge Isaac C. Parker typically had his criminals on a gallows in 90 days. Excellent way to control crime. By my count, 79 criminals. I don't know what this dude is talking about, but they galvanize those kind of creeps in there too. Let's see what else they talking about. Someone said unacceptable, horrendous, sickening, horrible. This is so wrong. Every life matters is every life matters. Welcome to Barack Obama's America. He's running this race into communism. Yes, Rob, I see this. See, that's why I'm bringing this to y'all. People need to see how these people think. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Definitely white lives don't matter. With that kind of stories, no wonder our country is so deeply divided. Sounds like one of those hate crimes. No justice, no peace. Arrest them for jaywalking. First off, what do you know about no justice, no peace? Will we see true justice or more black privilege? Why weren't they charged with a hate crime? Because clearly it was. No, clearly, Jill, it was not. Y'all wanted it to be a hate crime. Even the family in the statement said that it had nothing to do with race. Y'all tried to make it about race. It says, think if the roles were reversed. Let's see what else they got on here. Well, what happened if the tables were turned? You got a lot of those comments. First degree murder. This is someone who doesn't know how the law works. Where in the world would that have been first degree murder? Nothing from LeBron. No words of wisdom. Like someone in my chat said earlier, didn't y'all tell him to shut up and dribble? Well, that's what he's doing. This is unjustified. Someone else says, I don't trust the system anymore. That's a lie. Yes, you do. You just don't like what the outcome of this is, but you trust it. This old grandma and my sisters were saying that we don't want our kids to fight this corrupt system, but we don't want our grandkids to grow up in it. Maybe it's up to us. Look at what this person says. I won't say what I truly want to say, being human as I often am. Well, looking at this picture, you kind of look like Jack Nicholson's Joker. It would be far too offensive for most. Someone said, bring Dilbert back. This woman right here says, this is racist. Ethan should have cried, I can't breathe. Why? There must have been a reason why they weren't convicted. Is there more context to this? To what somebody responded to them with, seems like the color matters a lot. But see what she did with this one post? Many people like this Miss Space X had no clue of what this situation was, but only was going off of what this woman, this Leslie Bless, posted. Many of them don't know what this case is even all about. Many of them probably just learned of it the day that she made this post and just saw the optics of it. A PC teen died at the hands of some black men. That's all they had to see. That's all they had to see. No context, no rhyme or reasoning. Just that a PC team died at the hands of 3 black men. That was all they had. That was all they had to see to come to these conclusions. Hold on, Rob. I got you. It's one more thing I want to go over, and then I'll send it. But that's that post right there. I can go on and on, but y'all pretty much get the gist of that. But it's another post that she made that I want to show y'all. Still surrounding this. And it's this one right here that she posted yesterday. Like 4.5 hours later. She says, to anyone saying Ethan deserved this, Ethan was a passenger in a car. His friends had a water squirt gun. No, they had a pellet gun. Okay, since she wants to insult our intelligence, people in the chat, please tell me, does this look like a squirt gun to you? First off, it's bigger than a squirt gun. So it can't even, size wise, it can't even be a squirt gun. And the squirt gun shoots out just straight water, like little water streams, not pellets. Keep in mind, she said water's a squirt gun. This is not a squirt gun. See, I knew I pulled up this picture for a reason. All right, let's get back to the post. Getting guys wet that were playing basketball. How do you wet somebody with a pellet gun that is filled with water that's frozen? She made this post because she was feeling the heat from probably from other people that was coming at her. She says that does not warrant a broken neck and blunt force trauma to the head. So she's still on here spewing more lies. Now, as you can see, her engagement wasn't nearly as high as the previous post. I think she was probably trying to capitalize, so to speak, on the previous post that she made. But let's see what these replies are talking about. The left thinks the punishment fit the crime because Ethan was a white boy. So now they done politicize this thing where it wasn't. It's sickening, and I pray for Ethan's family. This person said it makes me sick to my stomach. They said, I'm glad that that's not the punishment for a squirt gun. When I was a kid, I would be much uglier than I am right now. Someone else says the blunt force trauma was his head hitting the pavement after the punch in the face by someone he shot in the face with a water pellet. Someone with some common sense. He could have avoided all of this if he had not decided to ride around looking for trouble. That's why I read all those articles first before I got to these posts. See, this woman, again, she tried to galvanize people in order to do what you saw in the previous post. Now, I couldn't pull up the quoted tweets from the previous one, but man, if y'all thought the replies in the initial post was bad, y'all should have seen what they were saying in those quoted tweets. They were actually putting threats in there. Some that I can't even say on here. Now, keep in mind, this woman is putting out all this misinformation on Elon Musk's X platform. $1.4 million views in less than 24 hours. No context behind what happened. Just that a white boy died at the hands of 3 black men. That is it. A simple Google search, like I did for those 2 articles, would have sufficed if they bothered to do any research. And it doesn't fall on me that this is a PC woman that's that posted these two statements. So when people ask who's the more dangerous one of the two genders, don't get it twisted. They're equally yoked. But that PC woman, the one that they let have feminism, the one who is the major benefactor of affirmative action, the one who has gotten the title and earned the title of Karen and a host of other things, is a whole monster. But let me go ahead and drop this link right quick. This link is only for Black Light Revelations. This is only for Rob. So Rob, if you were still in here, I posted the link in there for you to come up. Do not click on that link if you are not Rob. If I see you come up here, I'm gonna just send you right back into the chat. So Rob, there's the link right there. Shout out to Quincy X. It says nobody talking about the real victim, so I will. He says, so is the concrete okay? I think the concrete is doing I think the concrete is doing well. All right. All right, cool. All right, what's going on?
Yo, what's good, bro? Hey, so check this out. So that individual that posted that said that they want to see a case. What if this would have been in reverse, right?
Yeah.
Well, in reverse, we already saw Jalen Walker, right? But now check this out. You know how they always say, well, if you're so worried about black on black crime, if they're so worried about what's happening to young white kids in Akron, Ohio student who fatally stabbed roommate over fast food released from prison early. So yeah, so this guy right here basically is a student that was a student at University of Akron, Kendall Schneid. He deleted his roommate over a piece of pizza. See right there, a former University of Akron student was convicted of fatally stabbing his roommate over a fast food argument. He was granted early release after only serving 10 months of his 3-year sentence.
And all he got was 3 years, and he couldn't even do that.
Couldn't even do that. He deleted somebody, didn't even serve a year.
Wow. Over some food.
Over some food. Yeah. So that's it. You know, when they said that, oh, we want to see something that's comparable. We want to see something that's comparable. Plenty of examples. Here goes one of them right here. Very easy. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I just thought I'd throw that in there so you know you had something to cover that.
I appreciate that.
All right, for sure, bro. I appreciate you letting me up, man. Great stream, by the way. Make sure y'all smash that like button and hit the bell.
Right, exactly. And I appreciate it. And shout out to Rob again. Y'all know that we be doing our collabs every now and then on here. Usually that monthly collab. So I'm sure there's going to be something in the pipeline for October. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all, that I wanted to show y'all. Like I said, I really didn't have any intention of doing a video about that. I was just going to probably talk about it. My live stream was going to probably be like a little piece, like an update next week to talk about. But y'all got a whole show. And y'all got a little extra there at the end that Rob brought up to my attention because I didn't know about that. Clearly, that didn't make the major news outlets, and as you can see, why that is. But yeah, I wanted to bring that to y'all because again, some of y'all probably had heard about the story, knew about it, maybe forgot about it. I wanted to show y'all what the update was, what the verdict of it was. Y'all got the statement from the family via the lawyer. And then you saw the post that I made last year about how watch they're gonna say that they're gonna try to deem this as a hate crime. And mind you, that post that I made was after they started trying to declare it as a hate crime. That's right after they did that. That wasn't me just trying to say speak it into existence. That post was made after they started saying that last year. Then you got that post, those two posts from the women with that woman with no context to galvanize and rile up her audience. And mind you, that woman, I think I saw her followers count was like 277 plus thousand people were following her. So that was right for the picking for her to do that. And they tend to do that often. When there's context there, they don't go off the context and they'll pretend like there's no context there, or they'll say, oh, mainstream media isn't talking about it. They probably are. You're just choosing not to look it up. But it's easier for them to get out there and lie so they can go to the comments and laugh and say, ha ha ha, look at how I got them all triggered. Now they're going to go out there and act like they're clancestors. And speaking of, one of the posts that was in the quoted tweet, someone actually put up a picture of someone, it could have been them for all I know, wearing a Klan uniform, doing the salute. I just couldn't access it because how they got their site structure now is a little bit different than it was before. But that's pretty much all. Like I said, I wanted to keep this within an hour, and I met my goal because it's not exactly an hour yet. But I'm going to go ahead now and get off of here. Like I said, this was an impromptu stream. I'm surprised that this many people are in here right now in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. Some of y'all probably are at work listening to this, and y'all needed something to pass y'all time with an hour. And if that is the case, I'm glad that I could be of some service. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I will be back on here tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time, to bring y'all, of course, another commentary at regular time like I usually do. And we will go from there. Be safe and be one.